Do you?
I'll let you guys start. I want to see this.
Alrighty. Welcome back to the number one unfiltered podcast,
What
Victory
is
Lap,
up?
with your host, Connor Kennedy. And today I have a very special guest. After years of not talking to him, we finally got back into contact. Meanwhile, this man has achieved a large and great amount of success in door-to-door sales, and I would love to jump into that. First of all, round of applause. We're in Park City, Utah.
Dude, I love
so
Park
that
City.
would be a fun trip. So that's a great way to kick off the episode. Episode number two of the podcast. So our origin story, I guess, spawn point. Basically, we're just lifelong friends.
We met in first grade.
Yep, met in first grade, and we just kind of grew apart as anybody does.
And then I moved up to Layton, first grade. When I met you, you were in my class.
Yeah. So that kind of spiraled, and we never were into anything big. Like my other co-host I have, we when I met him, shout out Weston. When we met him, it was kind of already like set. We already had things we liked, and it just kind of spiraled inwards towards a friendship. We started the Victory Lap, started in stock, and Live for God. But yeah, our friendship's a good one, and I'm glad that we reconnecting, especially in Park City, Utah. This is going to be a great trip, and the vlog will be posted on my page for this trip as well as the Victory Laps. But I really kind of want to get dialed in on you as a person.
Yeah.
So you're doing door-to-door sales for?
So it's for Glide.
For Glide?
Yeah, window washing company.
So we're doing window washing, okay?
Yeah.
So how big is Glide roughly?
It's pretty small.
Okay.
It was started here in Utah.
Okay.
And it's just, I think it's like 4 years old.
Right. Yeah. Still 4 years. Any company's good when you got people working for you.
So so I started. So this is kind of how I got into it.
Yeah. How did you? I wanted to pinpoint that mostly. Yeah. That's kind of how I wanted to get into.
So I have a brother, right? His name's Seth.
Shout anybody you want out. Shout out Seth. Shout out your mom.
Right now, my brother Seth, he's on a mission for our church. He's in Santiago, Chile, and then he'll come back in a year. But anyway, Seth, he was part of this big friend group it's at Northridge High mostly. It's called the Sons of Mason. Mason, it's just this really wholesome friend group. There's like 30 boys in it. I love it. So the way it started was there's this kid, Marcus Thompson and Porter Pettit. Shout out 2 p.m. They have a band, Marcus Thompson and Porter. They have a band. I think it's pretty good. I love their music. So they have a band, and then Marcus's older brother, Mason, they were like hanging out, and they're like, hey, you're like my dad. Porter's like, hey, Mason, you're like my dad. And from that, now it just kept going from there. And so now Mason has like 40 sons that he's adopted, and we're just a bunch of boys in high school who we're in a group chat, we hang out. It's pretty fun.
I feel like a unity with men in general when you're around men, and you have a connection in any kind. In large groups of men can get a lot done successfully, and then quantum units, it's accountability. You just have that competitiveness with each other, and I like that. When you move into sports or even business or whatever you're doing, especially business, you have that competition. And especially, I like to pinpoint this, circle back around, door-to-door sales. I really want to deep dive into that. Just a group when you are doing door-to-door sales, I feel like is very important, and just overall helps the competitive nature that men are naturally born with. So let's circle back to how you got into sales and where you are, and let's pinpoint like where you are in your journey. And
totally. Yeah, so there's this kid in the Sons of Mason. His name's Gabe Lottie. Freaking shout that guy out, dude. I love that man. Basically he would text in the group chat all the time, but I didn't really know who he was because he was off during that summer. He was in Florida selling pest control. And then one night I was like bored, and so I texted that group chat. I'm like, hey, does anyone want to go on a drive? And then Gabe, he replies like 45 minutes later. He's like, yeah, hey, let's do it if you're still up and wanting to do it. So then he comes and picks me up, and this is the first like real conversation I've had with this guy. We're talking, we're driving around late in late in Utah, and we're just like talking about his experience with sales because he's been doing it for a few years. And then from that, so he did pest control in Florida, but his roommate has his company called Glide, and they do window washing. And so he's gonna do Glide, and he's like, "Yeah, so we're having a Davis County office this year, and I'm gonna be one of the team leads. Do you want to work for me?" And I'm like, "Dude, heck yeah, I'd love to get into door-to-door sales and stuff like that." And that's basically
The
how it
nature of how you
started.
got into it. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, just once again, the power of men in unity is incredible. What you can do when you got motivated, and especially the people you hang out with. The top, they say the 5 men you hang out with the most are the people that you'll become in a sense. And I'm glad that we're reconnecting, but I'm also glad that
yeah.
you've surrounded yourself with men that are on that same journey, on that same path. I wanted to get it deep dive into you what has happened this summer with your door to door sales experience with window washing and how you think that compares to other door to door natures such as pest control and security, such
Mhm.
as like Vivint and stuff.
Yeah.
What you think the difference of the nature is?
All right. So with that, I never did pest control, but what my friends have said who work there and who did pest control, they say that window washing is a whole better, like it's a lot better, especially here in Utah. And this is something that Gabe says because he says people actually need window washing, but Gabe doesn't fully believe that pest control, like people actually need it. He said one time, he was telling me one time, the key to selling good is having like full faith in your product that you're selling. That's like if you're not confident in what you're selling, like you're not gonna be great at selling it, you know?
The
So
art of door to door sales is good too.
yeah.
As long as you know, because if you knock 100 doors and you're closing 20, that's
Mhm.
still better than most people on
Yeah.
a trading floor in New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
So I want to dive into your perspective on sales, your approach to. I feel like people struggle with this the most when they get dealt with somebody that's not of the kind nature. So when you knock on a door and there's somebody not as open to buying from you, that are
Yeah.
more willing to shut you down. I want to ask you if you've ever dealt with somebody like that, and if so, how'd you handle it, and if you did not close that deal.
Totally. So the biggest thing, like, and first off, I love Glide. It's such a good group of men because they're not like I don't know. I really love them because they say when you like get into a situation like this, like be persistent, don't be pushy, but then like number one, like end it on a good note, you know?
Right.
So if you have someone who's just like who you've pitched to, they're like, no, I'm not doing that. And then you like be persistent a little bit, be like, totally, have you ever considered getting your windows washed or what do you do for your windows right now? And then they're just like, no, like get off my property. Like don't like just leave. Be like, okay, man, have a great day. You know, nothing good's gonna come out of keeping that going,
Right. It's
keeping
just
that
a. I feel
conversation.
like it's just a waste for your time.
Yeah,
The time that you spend from trying to egg them on more, and they're like,
yeah.
"Hey, get off my property," and
It's like nothing good's gonna come out of that. Also, like if they're not giving you the time of day, don't spend your time trying to force it out of them. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, definitely. The amount of time that you spend trying to keep bugging somebody that doesn't want to buy from you, that's the amount of time that it
Mhm.
takes to go from that door to, hey, Mark, that door from the one you're trying to close in order to the next door that you are meaning to close.
Yeah. So another thing about your other question, um, I feel like it's really different, like the type of person you are. Because for me, like I love people, and
Yeah.
so if someone's like mad that I'm at their door, like I just leave. It doesn't affect me, but then some people it does affect.
Oh,
And
100%.
but it genuinely doesn't really affect me. Like
Nice.
I don't really care if someone's like, no, get off my property.
What is your mental thoughts when you're going through it and you lose? Because
Um,
door to door is very you business in general. I feel is very mental.
yeah.
So as soon as you lose, and if you lose multiple times, how do you keep good mental clarity and keep going?
Well, if there's like one thing that I'm always like, because this is my first year doing sales, so it's not like I'm a great salesman and then the only thing I need to work on is my mental. Like I do need to work on my mental. But also if there's like I'm noticing one part that I'm not doing good at, then what I'll do is I'll like work on the script and I'll like watch training videos, and try to get that part better. So that's what I'll
Right.
do if people are like, no, no, no.
Yeah. Have you ever dealt with? I want to keep going in the direction of your sales journey. Have you ever dealt with like competitors, like as you're doing door to door sales,
Um,
looping in the same neighborhood, same time period as other pest
kind of.
control or security alarms
Kind of, but it
companies?
wasn't really like a competitor or something. I'm walking down the street knocking on doors, and then there's another guy walking, and then he's like, "Hey, you doing door to doors?" I'm like, "Yeah, you too." And then we're kind of just like having a conversation. He's a really cool dude. He does, I forgot what company, but they do like roofing and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And
I
so I got
gotcha.
his number, and he like, we made a deal like, "Hey, if anybody wants windows washed, I'll send them to you." And I'm like, I'll do the same if someone needs their roof or something. I haven't really had anyone yet to send them to him, but yeah, I feel like in Utah, the door to door sales, like sales is huge in Utah, in my opinion. But I feel like it's pretty good. I feel like people who do it genuinely are like are good guys. So
Right. So, are you just real quick? Are you confident in the ability to sell in the economy, or do you understand the fact that Utah has a lot of door to door salesmen, which puts you behind as far as people being willing to answer the door and buy from you?
yeah, so that's something we've discussed at the company and stuff like that. Like we started earlier because we don't want to like we don't want to hit places that are getting knocked every single day because then people really just lose their temper with door to door people. They're getting knocked on every single day. So we try to go more areas that like Glide hasn't knocked or other areas where yeah we try to go places where we don't think people will be too upset. You know.
Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory as far as sales and stuff. Is Glide shooting content? Are they producing content?
No, not really. They have like a small Instagram account, but I don't think it's
I
it's
got
not
you.
big or anything.
So, what do you think the difference between? Because you see guys like I don't know if you've seen him, but like Oliver Esther sells. He sold and sells pest control and stuff. He made it huge on Instagram, and then he eventually merged into like selling people how to sell,
Uh-huh.
which is what most people do. But what do you think the main difference between Glide turning into the next Vivint is from here to next year?
I think Glad has a lot of potential. I feel like it's run by a really good dude. What they do is really good. I feel like everyone there is really nice, and it's been growing a lot the past couple of years. So I think Glad has like decent potential to become really big.
Yeah. How many active salesmen do you have? Because it's seasonal.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you guys going to October or
We go to
when you get
September.
to September? How many active salesmen do you have from
So
between now and the time season ends?
so in the office I'm at, Davis County office, we have like I want to say 12 to 15 ish people. And then there are a couple more offices. There's like Provo, there's Orem. I think all in all, there's probably around 50 ish salesmen, give or take. But yeah, I think there's around 50. There's
50's 50's good for one office or for Glide?
for Glide, for all of Glide.
That's not horrible.
Yeah.
How much revenue ballpark do you think you guys have generated
Oh,
this summer?
um,
Because
let's see.
I see you walking around with a Tommy Hilfiger backpack and a
Yeah.
and glide hats
Um,
and shorts.
if I were to here, let me check actually. I think I can check. This year, the company has made. I don't know if I would be allowed to disclose this, but like,
You get? Are
I'll
you gonna
show
give a
you.
ballpark?
I'll show you.
You show me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's not too bad. Yeah. Definitely, Glide is probably the next upcoming window because I haven't heard of.
Like,
What are you guys'
accordingly,
biggest
we're like
competitors
our
in the state of Utah or Idaho?
kind of our biggest is this company called Mint.
Okay, yeah, I've
Have
definitely
you
heard
ever
of Mint.
seen like
Yeah, is that a
they
window
have
washing
signs?
company?
Yeah, they have some signs up
They're
around.
pretty big.
Yeah, they are. I
Other
feel
than
like
that, are there other little companies besides you guys, or is it
there are a
just
couple. I remember this one time we were talking about this one company. I forgot what it was called. But one of my buddies, he was like walking down the street, knocking, and this other group are also knocking. They're like, "Hey, we're doing Windows too," but like he could tell they were not experienced. So we like they think it was just like some high schoolers
yeah,
or college kids, and that's typically what's in Utah at least. Like there's a lot of high school kids who are just doing it for the summer. But Glide and Mint, there's like some of just like the biggest like actual companies.
right?
But some of the other stuff, like I forgot the name, but you could tell that the name was just completely AI generated.
Oh, really?
Like you could tell they put it in Chat GPT and took the first thing. Like we even like went to like Chat GPT and we said, give us ideas for a window washing in Utah. And then it came up with that as one of the options.
That's
I'm like,
crazy. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I have seen some like e-com stores that are just completely AI. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to share one story that I've had so far.
Yeah, 100%.
So it was kind of funny, and like some people, I don't know if they'd find it funny, but I thought it was really funny. I knocked on this guy's door. He's like, "Hey, how you?" He's like, "What do you need?" I'm like, "Hey, my name's Isaac. I'm with Glide, local window washers. The reason I'm popping by is I'm doing John Nipko, washing his windows. If I could fit you in next week, I'm gonna do it a lot cheaper than normal." And then he's like, not really. I don't need it. So then I'm a little persistent, but he's not like, I can tell he's not angry or anything. So at that point, I'm like, yeah, I can be persistent. Like, he's not mad at me for being on his door. But if he is, then I'll probably just say, cool, well, have a great day and leave. But he seemed like he had a really good attitude. So I was persistent. I'm like, totally, what do you normally do for your windows? And then he's like, nothing much. I move on. I'm like, the reason why your neighbor, like John, he hires me, the reason why he does, because I'm really good at getting into the hard water. You notice a bunch of that around here? So what I'll do, I'll take my super soft window grade steel wool and I'll really massage out all the hard water. How does that sound? And he's like, that sounds good. So then I'm like, if it's okay with you, just take a quick loop around. Takes me 1 minute. I'll count up your windows. Which side is the gate on? And then he's like, it's on the left side. And then I'm like walking off his door to go count up his windows in the back. And then he's like, but did you see my no soliciting sign? And I'm like, oh, no, I must not have. And then he's like, uh, I wish you guys knew what that means. It means don't knock on my effing door and sell me shit. And get the F out of here. I'm like, bro, you were so nice. It's like, he was like being a normal person, but then once he saw his no soliciting sign, he had to go back to default mode.
Yeah, it reminded him of the type of
It
person.
reminded him that he's not supposed to like solicitors.
So one thing that I get curious with is, do you ever not have faith in the product as far as, hey, so I'm selling window washing, not everybody wants their windows washed, compared to pest control of them getting driven by a fear factor. So you're
Yeah.
knocking somebody's door, and most of the time, the best people sell pest control to are the moms, right?
Mm-hmm.
because they're the easiest person to fear into buying. So without a fear factor, and to be honest with you, without a fear factor and without a value factor to people immediately, because most people don't get value of their windows being washed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you also can't hype window washing a ton unless it's to other door-to-door salesmen that get it. What do you think sets you guys apart, or gives you the competitive advantage at all, or gives you any ability to sell over other industries like pest control where you fear into people buying?
Now, see, I would kind of disagree with that. We have a lot of features and a lot of benefits. Um, so this is typically want me to run through a typical like
Yeah, go for
door
it.
to door. All right, so say I knock on your door and you
Right, they
answer.
answer.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing today?
How's it going?
It's going great. Real quick, my name's Isaac. I'm with Glide. We're local window washers. You've probably heard us. The reason I'm popping in is I'm doing Jessica. You know her? She has like 12
Yeah.
dogs. Yeah. So I'm washing her windows next week. If I could fit you on that schedule, I'm gonna do it a lot cheaper than normal.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I do for all my customers, I just take a quick lap around, count up your windows. It takes no longer than a minute. What side is the gate on?
The left.
Cool. Be back here in just a minute. Go around, count up your windows, and then let's say I notice you have a window that's like turning opaque. You've seen windows like that before,
Yeah.
right? So I take a picture of that. Let's say you also have a screen that is torn. Okay. Let's just say you have
Do
that.
you guys add
Yeah.
replacement features?
Yeah. So let's say I take a picture of that. I come back like, hey, so a big reason why people do go for me is because I'm really good at getting into the hard water. So that's something that I noticed, and then I show you the picture of the window with the hard water. So what we do, which a lot of companies don't really do, we'll take our super soft window grade steel wool and we'll sit in there with our solvent and we'll really massage out all of the calcium and get your window like brand new looking basically. We're not just the neighborhood kid who comes in with like a squeegee and a rag, right? We're gonna really get in there and get all the bad stuff off because over time, the calcium can etch into your glass and it will end up breaking, and then
Right.
you just have to get a new window.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I could see where you go from that, and
yeah.
that's my fault, but
No,
I
you
just
didn't
haven't
know.
explored window cleaning as much. But yeah, once you do point out flaws, just like in any business, you can
Yeah,
point out flaws in any sell and fear or either hype or basically sell a need. Right? You need this.
yeah.
If you don't take this, your windows are gonna be a lot more expensive once you have to replace them.
Hmm.
I totally get it.
I don't know. I like Windows. I think it's a good gig that I got into with this.
Yeah, definitely. How's that carried throughout school? So this was your first summer doing it?
This was my first time ever doing sales. Yeah.
Okay. How'd you like it? What were you doing before?
Before I was just doing uh just like basic like I was doing food jobs,
Okay.
stuff like
Yeah.
that before. But I don't
You
know.
must like it.
Um
The difference being
yeah,
able to control your life.
yeah, I do. Genuinely do though, I do kind of like food jobs because I really love cooking and I love the food industry, but like working as just a cashier, that's not really the food industry,
Right.
but I don't know. I
What
I like being around restaurants. I like
okay. Yeah, with that said, what do you think door to door sales will give you that you can carry with you into the future?
um a lot of like personal responsibility. I feel like I'm learning so much about personal responsibility and other stuff and like time management as well with doing door to door sales.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So when I wrap up any topic, what's the craziest, and if you do have one, what's the craziest story you ever had on the job, about the job,
Dude, okay,
you've heard in general
yeah.
about door to door sales ever? What's the craziest experience
Well,
story
okay.
you got for me?
So one thing, my buddy Gabe, his like buddy in Florida, like this isn't crazy, but he knocked on C Bum's house,
Oh, really?
which I think was that's so cool.
Yeah.
And then also my buddy tried to knock on Donald Trump's house
Oh,
in
okay.
Mar-a-Lago, but like his security kicked him out.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
he was walking up to the gate, he's like, just kicked him out.
Right.
Yeah, because he was down in Florida. But I mean, that's not anything crazy. But I think, my favorite thing about it was I was living with the boys who in the company, but then for a couple of reasons I decided to move out. Um, but when I was doing that, that was like my favorite thing ever. Living with
Right.
like
Yeah.
living with a bunch of just like 20-year-olds, so fun, dude. Like the stories that they would tell me and some of the stuff that we would do. Like so we would like leave every day at 12 o'clock and we'd come back at like 9. Okay. There's this one roommate, Samson. I love Sammy boy. Such a cool guy. But we probably woke neighbors up so bad.
So how do you deal? Do you guys knock past? Do you guys have a curfew?
We typically knock until like sunset.
Okay,
That's
so
yeah.
yeah, so during the summer, sunset 8:39.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yeah, around
I
that.
got you. Yeah, have you guys ever gone later than that? I wouldn't
So
expect it.
the latest sale that I've ever gotten was 11:40, and that's actually the latest sale in the company in like ever.
How'd you manage to get?
So
that
it was a
scenario?
funny story. Um, so like one of my old bosses reached out to me. She's like, "Hey, you want to come and just give me a quote?" Because I talked to her before. I wanted to see, because she was like the owner of the place I
Yeah.
worked at. So I asked her if like she'd be interested in us watching her like her store, But she said she already had someone, and the like we only do residential. We don't really do like buildings and businesses because it's just a whole different ballpark. Like it is completely different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we don't typically do that. We can, but
So you guys have the ability to do residential hotels.
I mean, like we can, but we typically don't just because
Do you guys?
it's a lot more competitive, and so we just stay in like just homes and stuff.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
yeah, houses. But anyway, I just reached because we could, so I reached out to her, but she said we already have someone. So at that point, like I'm not gonna push that, right? Because like the person they've had for like 5 years ever since they had the place. So I wasn't gonna be able to convince her to go with me instead. But anyway, but she's like, but you can come by my house and count up my windows and try to sell me my house. So this was the plan, right? I was gonna come to her house at 9 o'clock. Okay. So on the way there, she texts me. She's like, "Hey, running a little bit late." Okay, and then she's like, "Probably gonna be like 9:45 or even 10. Is that okay?" Like, yeah, I could stay till then. That's fine. But then I decided to go over to one of my buddy's house because I was like borrowing one of his stuff, and he didn't live that far away, so I dropped that off. Then I came back over to her house, and now at this point it's like 10:30. She wasn't there. She wasn't there yet. So then I'm just sitting in my car, just waiting because I wanted to get the sale. So I just started waiting. I wait for like probably another half hour. Then she gets there at like 11. Then I come out and I'm just having a conversation with her because I haven't seen her in like a year. So I was just having a conversation, talked to her daughter for a little bit because she's gonna be going to. So I'm like, you should do this program. You should do this program because I'll be the president of FCCLA. I do that. She might do it. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm just talking to my old boss. We're having a conversation. At that point, I already counted up the windows and I already like got her price because I was sitting there forever. So I just decided to already do that. And then finally, like, cut to the chase. I'm like, yeah. So want to come over and look at this window real quick, and then showed her one window that was pretty like hard. There was a lot of hard water buildup on it. So then we do that. I'm talking to her. We're figuring through the contract and everything, and then I finally like get it in at like 11:40. And
Wow.
yeah,
That is super late.
yeah.
Speaking of late, what time is it?
What time is it?
This is the latest
Nine
episode.
seventeen.
9:17. This is the latest episode out of the all the
Yeah.
episodes I've ever done.
Of the whole 2 episodes.
The whole 2 episodes. This is the latest one we've gone. We don't
it's
have
like dark out.
we don't have our co-host, but yeah, I loved how to get this interview in.
Come to the local golf course to do
First time
driving
ever
range.
golfing.
Yeah, so I'm big into golf. I love golf. I'm gonna be trying out for the golf team this year. Hope I make it. But yeah, no, I love golf. So I'm like, hey, wanna
Definitely,
go to the driving
I'm
range?
the number one golfer in the
The
state of
number
Utah.
one golfer.
The number one golfer in the
100%.
state of Utah.
Yeah.
We could kind of dive into golf. I want to dive into golf.
Yeah.
So you got into golf a year ago?
Well, okay, so like the first time I ever played golf was like 2 years ago. I did the driving range, with a young men's group. But then after that, I didn't like do it again. I think I went back to like, but after that, like I literally fell in love with it. Like some people, this happens to some people. Like first time golfing, I had terrible shots, right? But then I get those couple of shots that are beautiful. Like I get a couple of drives, amazing shots. And from that, like I just I fell in love with golf. And then I went back to the range a couple times. And then I eventually bought my own clubs off of KSL, and I was able to go. So I did that for like 4 months of me going to the range and buying my own clubs and stuff. And then I broke my foot, and so I wasn't out there golfing at all, really, when I broke my foot. And that was during the summer that I broke my foot, last summer. And then once I healed up my foot, I kind of forgot about golf for a little bit. And because now I was into high school and I was a little bit more busy. But then it was actually with Glide. We did a Glide retreat down in St. George, where like they had like a Glide retreat down in St. George, like February or something, February. And actually, right before I left, there were district competitions for FCCLA, which is it's the club that I'm in.
What's it stand for?
Family Career Community Leaders of America. Reason I'm in it is because I love cooking and I want to get into cooking at some point.
It's a culinary art.
Well, yeah, so culinary arts falls into the category of what
Okay.
FCCLA covers. And also, another reason why I'm doing it, so when my dad was a kid, he got the Sterling Scholar Award for math. I'm pretty sure it was either math or music, one of those two. And then
One of the M's, right?
Yeah. And then just 2 years ago, when my brother graduated, he got the Sterling Scholar in music. So I'm like, well, I need to get a Sterling Scholar. But like, I don't really play anything else. Like, I played trumpet, but then I kind of quit doing that after junior high because I didn't love it, And frankly, at that point, my grades weren't good enough to get Sterling Scholar in math or anything.
What are the requirements for that achievement?
Well, okay, so Sterling Scholar is, you know what it is? It's like an award at the end of the year. Well, not at the end of the year. It's like halfway through your senior year. There's a bunch of different categories, and then the teachers who like teach the classes of that category, they will at your school, they will collectively decide. You have to like apply and stuff. They will collectively decide who is like the scholar in that category. And so that's how you get Sterling Scholar at your school. Then after that, there's school level, then district level, and then state level. And I think there's national level. I'm not 100% sure though. But yeah, so if you're a Sterling Scholar for the state, for your school, sorry, then you go on to districts and you'll go against all the other Sterling Scholars of your category from different schools. And yeah, you just keep going up. And Sterling, like if you win like state, like you get good scholarships and stuff to schools. And even just with the school Sterling Scholar, you can get a good scholarship to another school.
Okay.
Scholarship would be cool, but that's not really the reason why I want to do Sterling Scholar.
Yeah.
I kind of want to do it just to say I did it, and because my dad and my brother got it. Like I need to get it too. You know what I mean? So I figured, you know what? I might as well like go full force into like FCCLA, because if I do FCCLA, that directly is with the three teachers in charge of the Family and Consumer Science FCC or Sterling Scholar, which is the one I would go for. And those three teachers love me already, and like I'm gonna be the president of the club as a junior, and I'll probably, if not president of the club at day for my senior year, I might be a state officer my senior year. I might try out for a state officer, which if I do that, I've basically 100% gotten the Sterling Scholar at that point. Because I think right now I'm already like a shoe in. Because there's genuinely not that many people in the FCCLA at Davis, and at this point already, I think I'm the best candidate for it because there's a competition. It's called Star Events. There's a bunch of different categories. I picked this one category called Food Innovations, and with that, there are like guidelines. You have to create a snack, and then you have to present it and stuff. So that was the thing I did, and the snack that I made, it's a protein bar made out of pumpkin seeds, dude.
Oh
And
wow.
it tastes good too, dude. And it's like a lot of protein. It's good. And I'm actually Bowman's Market. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, yeah. You were
Yeah,
telling me about that over Instagram DMs.
yeah. So like my mom, she's like really good friends with one of the owners of Bowman's. So I'm thinking, hey, I might get an interview with her, see if I could get my product on shelves.
Yeah. What's your product's name?
Yeah, so it's called Bazooka Bars,
Okay, and
and yeah,
it's and soon to be on Bowman's
yeah, soon
shelves.
to be on Bowman's shelves, hopefully.
All right,
Yeah, we getting it.
definitely
But yeah, so I was actually picked up from the district event, which I got first place in,
nice.
and then so I was then taken down to St. George for the Glide retreat, and there I had a lot of fun. I met a bunch of the people at Glide. So during that, my buddy's like, "Hey, I have these two other buddies who are down there, and they're golfing. Do you want to golf?" So I'm like, "Yeah, dude, let's golf down there." So we get down to St. George, and we go to this one course called Coral Canyon. Dude, it is a beautiful course. I loved it, but it was so windy that day. we we definitely shot birdies though. 100%. Nah, we did so bad. But it was so fun. I don't know. So then after that, since that, I've just my mind has just been like golf, golf, golf.
Yeah,
Yeah, since that thing,
it's expensive, huh?
yeah, dude. Golf is not cheap. I
Yeah.
wish it was, but I've been doing rounds. There's like 2 weeks ago, I think I played golf every single day. I did like 4 rounds of golf, and then the other days I was just at the driving range and putting green for a couple hours, just practicing. But then I just recently got a new bag and just recently got new clubs and stuff. Or not new club, but a couple new things. And so I don't know. Yeah. So I'm going for the
Yeah, sounds like you've had a heck of a summer. I know I have. Plans for the rest of the summer, moving on.
rest of the summer. Let's see. I'm gonna go back into full time door to door. Like I said, I've been taking like a short little break to focus on school and stuff. But then I'll be hopping back into that, finishing off the summer. And then I got school starting pretty soon, and then yeah, golf tryouts. My birthday's at the end of the summer, so yeah,
Yeah. Have you ever thought about getting into the content space?
dude, I have. So I've thought about doing like a podcast, but then I don't know. I don't really know what to do.
It takes a yeah, it takes a lot
I've
of
never like I recorded an episode with one of my buddies
yeah.
on my phone. We were sitting in my car, but
Yeah,
it was just a voice recording. But
it definitely
it
takes
has
a lot
not
of
gone.
it definitely
It
takes a
is
lot of
it is
mental
not
energy.
published.
It definitely takes a lot of mental energy to get everything set up.
Yeah, I want to know what else takes a lot of mental energy? Flipping our kayak, bro.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, today was a good day. I'm glad been shooting content all summer, but yeah, the vlog will be out sometime this week, a week after everything gets recorded, on my channel and on the Victory Laps channel. Unfortunately, I didn't get any content on the river, but yeah, definitely Park City up here. I shout out Park City. I've had some crazy experiences already. Flipped the kayak, headed towards a tree, sideways, hit the rapid, hit the rock, flipped over, kept rolling,
Yeah.
lost my shoe. Actually, no, we have both sandals.
We got it. We got it back.
We're in.
So, all right. So, like, this is what happened, right? We're, like, floating down the river. We're both just in tubes at this point, right?
Yeah, so to begin today, we're vlogging. We got the first morning part done, recorded, and then we're heading down the river. We're in tubes initially, and then after a while,
There's, like, a
we
point
finish
where you
the
have
river.
to get out.
Yeah, a point where you get out.
There's, like, a
finish the
bridge
river.
or something, so you have to get out and then get back in.
Yeah.
And at that point, I, like, said to my cousin, hey, do you want the tube? And then I'll take the kayak.
Yeah, so we're on a kayak, and then
Two-person kayak.
We're
But
going.
we still have the tube with us.
Yeah.
Like, just hooked onto our kayak.
Yeah, so we have a tube, we have a kayak. We're going down the river.
And then
Everything's
this
okay.
bozo's like shaking
Everything's
the
fun.
kayak
Yeah,
around.
so I'm just being Connor.
He's shaking
I'm
the
trying to
kayak
have fun.
around.
I'm tipping the kayak a little
And then
bit.
he's like, we're going straight to a tree.
What we don't realize is what I don't realize is that he can't see behind me with me blocking his like me on sync with the way he's like having to see.
And I'm trying, like, there's like rapids ahead, so I'm like trying to steer towards
right.
that,
So he's
but then
aware
just-
of the rapids, trying to steer away from it, or at least towards it to where we don't get hit majorly. And I'm just
like, I was trying to
being me.
go head on to it so we don't tip, you know.
Yeah.
But
Me being me, I'm heading straight. We're heading straight for the tree. I yelled, "There's a tree."
and then we like
He was
avoid the
aware
tree.
of it, and it wasn't the tree that did us.
It was
It was
so like
the fact that we were sideways
What-
with the
yeah.
back of the kayak.
because we tried to avoid the tree and we pushed away, but then we were sideways going down a rock and we just flipped
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, so it wasn't that did us in. It was when we were headed towards the tree. We were aware of the tree, but the back end of the kayak was a little tilted up,
Yeah.
and the fact that we were sideways. We hit the rapid first of all, so we go under the water, and then we hit the rock, flip over, and at this point, I fall and hit my head on the rock, so I'm like clustered to like every extent.
Then
I
I'd
didn't know what
fallen
was
in the
going on.
water too.
He fell in the water. I hit my head, and then I
and
looked
I'm like,
up,
yeah.
and
He
I
hopped
left
back
him.
in the
I hopped off the
kayak.
kayak and kind of just like started flowing down the river.
And then, but then the tube, it was floating away. So like my instinct, like this is like happened in like a span of like 3 seconds. I was like, I'm not grabbing the tube, and now I'm floating away from him, and I have a tube with me. So then I just spend the rest of the river just in the tube, and he's in the kayak. And then, so the kayak's like what? What do you think? Like 12 feet long?
Yeah, 12 feet. Meanwhile,
12 feet long.
meanwhile, this kayak
He's
is
sitting
12 feet
right
long.
on the tip. He's sitting on the tip of the kayak, so it's like the end of the kayak's like a foot above the water, bro.
Yeah. So meanwhile, this kayak is 12 feet long. It's about a foot above the water. We hit the tree. Back end comes up. I fall. He falls. Rock gets hit. Kayak flips over. I'm panicking. I get back on. He takes the tube, starts floating, and that was our
he gets
near-death
his shoe
experience
back.
today.
He gets his shoe back too.
Yeah, we got the tube back. But yeah, that was
I don't think we lost anything.
that jet ski action. It's gonna be
We got
great.
some jet ski action, potentially some golf action.
Potentially some golf action.
Potentially,
Definitely hit a vlog tomorrow. Tomorrow's vlog is
Yeah.
definitely going to see me
definitely some
hitting
poker action.
straight on par.
Definitely some poker
Definitely
action.
we can't get Joel on set. Joel,
Joel's not here. I think he's
is Joel here? Oh, I want
He's
him
in
on the
the hot
pod so bad. Vlog day 1 recorded. We died in kayak, and Joel lost a lot of money playing poker. I'm definitely excited as far as this being out here. We got a podcast filmed. Dude, I wanted Joel on the podcast, bro.
Dude, I wish.
He could express his losses on blackjack or no?
I love blackjack. Yeah, I think it's really fun. I don't know. What is hard on blackjack? It's like what is
No,
that
have
mean?
you ever like been like into blackjack?
Oh yeah, there's dude. I don't think I've ever played where I'm not the dealer in the bank. Cause when I've played with people who haven't played before, and so I have to be like the bank, and so I don't really get to play, except for like, I mean, I kind of do. If I beat them, then they don't get anything, right?
Yeah.
But I don't get my own chips, you know.
Yeah.
So,
No, definitely.
but I've just been like the bank and stuff. I want to play where I'm an actual player, you know. But I for the past few times, bro, I'm like the only one who knows how to play, and so I'm the only one who does it,
Yeah. So what do you think about the podcast?
dude.
What do you think about everything?
I like the podcast. It's cool.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to do something like this, but
it's
it's
definitely
cool
it's
that
just
you
a step
got
because
into it.
it takes a lot of annoyance and stuff.
Yeah,
But like, dude, I wake up every day. I'm excited. I get to film content. Like this is what I want to do.
yeah, totally.
Like I want to wrestle, but I also
I
want
saw
to.
like you do street interviews and stuff
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
doing straight interviews. I kind of wanted to get some out here, but
Dude, why not? Why wouldn't we? We could.
yeah, 100%.
Go to like
You want
Park.
to shoot some content,
There's probably like a mall in Park City. We could probably find a place to like walk around.
dude? Straight like
Dude,
I could.
tomorrow
Do you want to
after,
shoot content?
I'm so down, bro.
Let's shoot content.
After jet skiing, bro, go to the mall.
I'm shooting content while I'm jet skiing. I need
Oh,
intro.
yeah?
I need stuff. I gotta
Yeah.
live life a little bit, bro. I'm just so glad. I've had a feeling today. I was like, bro, we're gonna go kayaking or I'm gonna get flipped. Somebody's gonna think it's funny to flip me.
I didn't know I'd flip you, bro.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying somebody would have thought it was funny to flip me. And then there goes phone. Water case. The water case wouldn't have done anything. We were cooked.
Yeah, we would. And after we flipped, bro, you would have lost your phone.
I almost lost my shoe. It was bad.
Bro, the only reason why you didn't lose your shoe because it floats. Imagine if you let go of your phone, bro. That's not floating.
Yeah, no, it's going
That's
straight.
going straight.
What's cool about the river though is it was very shallow. Not where we were at specifically, but
I don't like the shallow. You know.
no, definitely
like-
when you're going down the inner tube and all you feel on your butt is.
Dude, mine,
Oh, it
the
hurts.
net. Did you see the net?
Yeah,
ripped,
the net
dude?
ripped.
So the tubes we have, like it's the tube, but the bottom there's like a net bottom, so you don't just fall through because they're like big, like heavy duty tubes. They're not just like small tubes. Like you could fall through, and like there's this rock. I was like going to get out, like the net at the bottom had a friggin' rip in it. This rock just totally ripped it. It's so lucky that it didn't puncture the actual tube.
Yeah,
That's
most
so
definitely.
nice.
Those things, I was definitely losing air on the way.
Oh yeah, I
Like,
lost
flat shot.
some air for sure, but I don't know. Whenever I do river trips, and I do them a lot actually.
Yeah,
Some of my favorite things, air mattresses, dude.
air mattresses
Yeah, so
down rivers.
yeah, so it was my 16th birthday party. I had a bunch of friends over. And we're like, hey, let's run the Weber River, and
An air mattress.
everyone has their tubes and stuff, and I decided to do an air mattress. So I'm like
How long?
spread out.
How long is the
The-
in miles? How long is the Weber River? For context.
I think we did like 4 miles.
So 4 miles in an air
3
mattress.
to 4 miles.
So this
something
is
like
the
that.
reason you did 4 miles
Something like that.
on
Yeah.
a river in an air mattress. Yeah, that's
Like
crazy.
it was a couple hours. It was
Yeah,
like
no, definitely.
yeah,
What
dude.
I want to know what happens when you get a hole and then you
I
sink
didn't.
and then you drown.
dude. See, there wasn't a hole, bro. It was like like one of my buddies. He had like the same kind of tubes that we did. He had a hole from
Air
that
mattress
river.
stay strong.
No, the air mattress did so much better than I expected. Like genuinely, it did so well. But if it would have like popped, then I would have just swam. Like
Yeah.
that's one thing. I love swimming rivers. I did the Jordan River. No, sorry, not the Jordan. Sorry, the Green River in Wyoming, like a month ago, and I was just because it's really deep, the Green River. So I was swimming that whole thing. I don't know. I love swimming. I don't know.
You want to take a break and then we'll circle back?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I said, darn it, I told you to stop. Dude, I'm glad content makes you laugh.
You have the Fortnite llama in the background.
What do you think about the whole e-com life? Like, what do you think about?
Okay, some stuff is like weird. You know what I mean? Like you see those videos.
OnlyFans management?
No, I'm not talking about OnlyFans, bro. What?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about like all the drop shipping people.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
it gets
when it's
old,
like
though.
when it's like those people like who it's like clearly fake. Same thing as on AliExpress for 10 cents. It's like I don't know. Some of that's goofy, but I mean, if it works for you, it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like dropshipping is one of those things where you have to already have it figured out.
Yeah, but what you were talking about with your kind of e-commerce that seems cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that I will be creating the next wave,
Nah, the best
the
way.
best wave.
Bro, I'm hopping in on that. I'm investing in their company.
Yeah, I it's gonna be
I'm
crazy.
hopping in on that one.
When we actually offer our memberships to people, it's gonna be a wild ride because that's like technology changing. That type of technology isn't introduced. It's all manual. Like the people that list their products on Amazon list the other comparisons.
Yeah.
So if you have software where you shop on the website and see where you can save money shopping.
Could I hop in on that? Could I invest?
Yeah, you could. You want it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll talk
definitely.
more later about that.
Definitely.
What are you gonna call it?
And I don't know. I think I'm gonna call it. I'm not. In stock was the drop shipping portion of it,
Yeah.
and then I don't know. I gotta fix the name.
Yeah. How much equity are you gonna give me in the company?
I don't know. $1,000. This is $1 billion. This is $1 billion worth of
Yeah,
technology,
but
bro.
you
This is
don't have $1 billion
$1
right
technology.
now.
Nah, no, it's all right.
$1,000 could help you.
Joel! Joel! We got Joel on the podcast.
What's up?
Why were you on your phone during the entire conversation?
No,
I'm
listen.
keeping that.
Listen, one time I was like messing with my brother, and we were on ChatGPT, and then my brother's like, he said, "Bear your testimony as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints."
Oh,
And
did
it
it make
did.
something?
Yes, it was like pretty good, bro. So that's like, bro, I'm saying that in my farewell talk. I'm saying that word for word in my farewell talk.
Where's the ideal place for you to go serve a mission?
What?
Where's the ideal place for you to go serve a mission?
Ideal place where I would serve a mission? Moscow, Russia.
Just a tad
No.
bit dangerous.
I don't know. Low-key, I kind of want to stay statewide, because then I'll be able to vote. And I want to vote. I want to vote.
Trump or ex-Biden? Who's in form now?
Kamala.
Kamala.
Or Kamala. Scamala.
Okay, so I'm assuming Trump then.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you think of the failed assassination attempt?
Dude, absolutely wild, bro. And like, did you see what like he searched up on his laptop? It like got leaked. Like,
Oh yeah.
the FBI did a
Yeah.
search. The last thing he looked up was it makes sense. Like this, like there's no way like he went there thinking he was gonna live, right? There's no way. Like you don't go by yourself trying to assassinate a president thinking you're getting out of there alive.
I know.
He's saving us from getting canceled.
Have you ever been on a podcast, Joel? No, never.
First one.
Really?
I hope I become famous.
Are you excited? Joel, you're on the #1 podcast in the world.
The number
Alright.
one.
You're on the #1 podcast in the world.
Hey, let's do this.
How does it feel?
Is
All
the
right.
audio good here?
Yeah, no, we got
Between both of us?
good. All right, who we got? We got Joel.
We got Joel.
You got Joel.
Give us a little intro, Joel.
How do you want me to do? Like, I'm Joel.
Tell us who
I
you
was
are.
born in Mexico. Came
Yeah.
here when I was 5. Lived in Compton, LA for a couple years. Moved to Idaho Falls a few years after, and then came to Utah. I've been here ever since.
You like Utah?
Love it. I wouldn't want to be honest. My mom sold everything, and this is home.
That's what
I
I was
mean, as
thinking.
much as I feel like I'm Mexican, but like as she go back, like I'm kind of like this is home.
Yeah.
No matter what, no matter where I go in this world, Utah's where I always will come back to it. At least for me, it's
Yeah.
the home base. Yeah,
Do you remember? Do you remember living in Mexico at all?
I do. The 5 years I was there, it was an adventure. I was. I remember my house. It was literally no bigger than this hallway compared to this way. Maybe twice the size. My mom had her sewing machine up front, our bed right next to it, and then you came a little bit forward like a closet. There was a kitchen, and then outside there was like a well. And I remember when she paid a lot of money to build a second level on top. Um, it was different times. I remember when I first started walking, how proud I was. I don't know. Let me ask you guys this, and I'll start my story for a minute. How young do you remember? At what point do you guys remember the point where you were like, I remember this?
Probably 5.
Really,
I'm gonna go with
5?
5. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 5. Yeah, because I lived in
See,
Colorado.
I remember before I could walk.
Really?
I remember when I'm like, I can walk, ma, because I spent a lot of time in the bed because my head was so big that it was heavier than my body. And I remember just laying there, so sleeping a lot, obviously. But one day I was able to get off the bed, and I remember taking my steps, and there was no like right here where you're like, great job, oh my God, just take pictures. No, it was more like, yeah, you can walk now. That's what I remember
Yeah.
from it.
Finally.
Yeah, no, that's the idea. That was the feeling I got. It's like, yeah, finally you can walk. I'm like, okay.
The kid down the street started walking 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I remember, I mean, just running back and forth. I remember playing on my own a lot. My mom sewing a lot. But yeah, I remember when I was pretty young because I started here in when I was in kindergarten, the first grade. That was the first grade. So I know there were 5 years in Mexico. So I can't really remember the exact amount of years, but like I remember um, just hanging out. I was out. My mom would go outside so I can play with other kids, but it was like, and I don't know if you guys do this. I mean, times have changed, but like we would play different games every month. Or like, you know how you guys people were into Pokemon? Yeah. So imagine going into Pokemon really hard for a whole month, right? You're like the best at it, and then you drop it, and then you pick something else up.
Yeah.
We
But
were
back
kinda,
in the day, it was more like water guns,
Yeah.
yo-yos, marbles.
Nerf guns.
There was no Nerf guns back in the day. This thing that you throw and it spins. It's kind of like they started making them popular in the '90s, where you pull the thing and it will spin.
What are those called?
So that, but we call them trompos, and they were made out of wood. You literally made that you throw them, and the whole thing was to knock the other ones out. There was no like easy way to do it. It was just they were
oh,
handmade.
Beyblades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's it.
I remember all that. I remember playing. I remember, oh, dude, our holidays in Mexico were like the bomb. Just being able to. It was a whole community. Like it was the whole
What part of Mexico did you live in?
Guadalajara, Jalisco, Zapopan.
Yeah.
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 And it was. I mean, there was like Christmas is different here than it was over there. It was so different. It was more. You could be rich or poor in Mexico, and you still would have a blast. The only difference was the gifts. You either got a gift that was really small because your family was poor, but you still got a small gift, or you got more than one because your family was well off. But it was, here is more like, it was so different. Just the times were changing too, to be honest. Like, um, so I I love being over there. The time that I was there.
You're in Compton now, right?
Yeah, well, like I said, it was just I got lost in Mexico. My mom thought I was kidnapped. I decided to walk from like I don't know, imagine downtown Salt Lake City from Delta Center all the way to I don't know the courthouse, and I was literally not even 5 years old, but I knew how to get around. It was just kids over there are just a different breed. You like your insecurities were your nicknames. You know, you have a big nose, it's narizón. You're
Yeah.
fat, and I'm not disrespecting, but you're a panzón. And it's an endearment that they use. To be honest, it's not. I mean, it hurts, but it really doesn't. You know. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just it was so anyway. Mexico's fun. I miss my house once my mom sold it.
Really?
I do. It was one of those things where like, uh, that's where I was born. I was, that's all
Yeah.
I
Home.
knew. I'm thankful my mom did what she did to get over here. I really am, because I know I would have been dead by now. I, I know that for a fact. I just the way I've learned is not an easy way to succeed in those countries, and I'm lucky to be here. To be honest, to be where I'm at right now, even here right now. So many things had to happen for me to be here.
Come here every year as long as I can remember. I'm pretty sure we started coming here before I was
Oh,
born.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
remember coming here.
so Joel is like one of my dad's
Your
closest
family,
friends.
pretty much. Your dad's like a
Basically
brother to
family.
me. Yeah.
So Joel, tell us about that. Like how you met my dad, like stuff like that.
How I met your dad. I was in high school. I was in high school, and there was a program called. How did I
Mark
remember?
went to.
Mark didn't go to.
To school,
Mark
right?
went to the University of Utah, but there was a program that he started at to help kids that needed help, I guess, tutoring, and it was a place where you can come and kind of hang out, but do homework, and they help you
Yeah.
with stuff. And to be honest, to this day, like I could not tell you what me and Mark, because I was in high school, he was in college, and we just kept in touch. And I remember the first time we hanged out, like he's like, "Yeah, let's hang out." We went to see a movie, and I believe it was Star Wars.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he took me in, and then we hanged out for like not all the time. We just kept in touch. Somehow we just, because there were times of periods where we didn't talk, and somehow we were always able to reconnect. I mean, we lived in your house,
Yeah,
the
I think
one
I
in your
remember that.
house.
I
You were
think
not
it's
even born, buddy. I don't think you were not
well,
even
I
born.
remember you were like around like
Yeah, you were not even born,
oh,
or
and
maybe
like
you were.
we
Maybe
had
you're just a
somebody.
baby.
We at one point we also did have somebody living in our house, and like I remember you a lot, and also I was really young, so I think I got those
But I think
confused for a second.
there was so then I mean, that's where I met Mark, and we just became really good friends. We started coming here, like I said, where it was just your dad and your uncle and aunt and
Yeah.
your grandparents, and it was different. There was not many of us. It was
Yeah,
just us hanging out, like us being the kids technically, because they're older than us, way older. Me and my brother. Um,
and then
and then kids started to come in, and
probably weren't fighting over which movie to choose
they
for.
weren't. There was more. It was really like Joe. I remember. Um, he was the first one, the first grandkid, and but yeah, that's how I met your dad. We've been friends ever since. It was parts of periods that we just didn't talk, and somehow months and years would go by, and we always came back. We reconnected somehow. Like when he went to Guatemala, I don't know how we reconnected again.
Oh yeah.
To this day, I could not tell you how we were. Oh no, I think I remember, sort of. Yeah, no, I don't. My brother and your dad became really close for a
Yeah,
long time because he was in high school, my brother, and he's the one that helped your dad literally do electrical, plumbing, roofing, sheetrocking, framing. They did it all together. Like my brother learned a lot from your dad,
yeah,
uh, doing everything. And so yeah, it was amazing. I know we went off, but like yeah, that's how I remember how I met your dad. To be honest, other than that, and us going to hang out to watch a movie that I talked about is what triggered it. And ever since, um, I'm not gonna say we were inseparable, but like we've been able to keep in touch as much as possible. So
Yeah.
that's how we met your dad. Anyway, when I was in Compton, you saw a lot of death. I mean, just body bags coming out of houses. So um, you went to bed early. You hear sirens back and forth. It was normal. You
Right.
hear gunshots. You just hit the ground. Um, in Compton to the other part. I remember we went in the morning, and on our way back, the riots happened, and they shut everything down. So my mom and my brother's dad, we ended up going to the babysitter, and I'm not kidding you, it was the hallway was no bigger than the kitchen, and we just slept there for the whole night until the buses were able to get back up. Don't know what happened. I remember though a lot of stores being broken into. A lot of people were bringing stuff back into their house. I mean, it was just, you know, damage. A lot of darkness, I guess, in that. A lot of, I don't know. It shut the city down. That's the way. I was
Yeah.
too little to be able to say more on it. But I
Right.
remember just it affected me. I won't remember. I will remember the fact that I couldn't leave. We couldn't leave that part of town until the next day, and when the buses were running again to get home. And I really don't remember days after that because then the buses were running normal after that. But like that was a scary part. We didn't want to be part of it because my mom was old, but not too old, but then she had two kids, and you don't want to go and be part of stuff like that. But after that, just that was for a couple years. I remember living in a part of town where like the gangs would store all their guns under the part of the downstairs of the apartment, and they just store them there. So there was a lot of police around there too, and uh, I mean there were gangs even in elementary schools. I remember
Yeah.
like so. Compton was really just an experience, different life, you know. It was when Tupac, Dr. Dre, and all that stuff era. So um,
When they were, you got there when they were first blowing up or after?
before,
Before?
I think it was before or like towards those steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it was from 90 to 94, 95. So you do the math there. That's when I was there. I know I was there for the riots, so I don't remember the riots when it were, but I was there
Okay. I
around
got
that.
you.
And then after that, in 94, 95, that's when I went to Idaho Falls. And I tell you, that's like a culture shock because
Yeah.
you go from sirens and shotguns to like
Nobody,
nothing.
no.
Nothing. You're like, you're like nothing. You don't hear gunshots. You don't hear sirens. You're like, like not a fucking thing. So I just like, okay. I remember my mom would go to work to a potato factory because that's what she did, and I would go to
Love
school by myself,
potatoes.
wake up early in the morning, and go to yeah, go wake up early in the morning, go to school, and then
Milk
come
the
back.
cows.
No, no, no. It wasn't like that. It was just
Yeah.
I. The town was such a like tiny town. I cannot explain. It's a small town. It's
Yeah.
grown since I've been
Yeah.
back. But yeah, the temple was right next door, and we had a neighbor that was really into the religion that he would come and invite me to go see movies with him, church movies.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, yeah, let's go. Like I was just excited to go somewhere other than where it was. So
At school.
yeah,
Yeah.
and summers were interesting. I remember trick or treating was where you just went down in the neighborhood, and I was a paper boy back there too. So I
Yeah.
would just grab my bag and
You need the
no, they
route.
just well, no, being a paper when it was a paper boy, they would give you a bag with a bag in front
Uh-huh.
to put your papers and a bag in the back,
Yeah.
and then I use that to go trick or treating.
Nice.
So you just this full of candy walking around, and no fear. It was nowadays you do that, you feel like your children. We were all in elementary school. It was just three of us. We weren't scared, but nowadays if you do that, people feel like you're gonna get kidnapped. At least that's my perspective of it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, I feel that.
And
Well,
then
the world is very,
it's changed.
very
It
weird.
It has
is.
Yeah.
changed. AI has changed it. Technology, Instagram has put a lot of fear to parents, sort of.
Well, yeah,
So
social media in general, you get people that access to like say what they want when they want to who they want, and then you get these big creators like what I want to be, where then they have a platform where they could speak whatever to thousands of people, and it's just like I was getting into him about like I know you don't want to go into this, but like the Trump stuff, people might have a platform and then they say something on that platform and it might provoke somebody that's watching their content to be like,
100%.
I'm gonna go start a riot because they said that on Instagram. You know,
That's exactly how it starts.
but on the flip side of that too, it's so bad because like I feel like being in high school, you see the way.
What's up, Ethan?
What I was saying though, the access that people have been given through Instagram, and even like me starting my podcast, like the access I've been given and people have been given, like being in high school, you see the way. I feel like the most sad thing about it, all of it is the way in social media in general has affected the women of our youth.
Elaborate on that first.
How's that?
Yeah, elaborate.
Because
for a sec.
I genuinely feel like women have gotten more accessible to being more unmoral, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So,
I see that.
and let's break that down. Where are you getting this information? How do you think?
What I genuinely view, like every
So
Instagram.
keep in mind that that's a small amount. So like, do you think it's bad?
Well, what I'm viewing, yes.
No, the
it's
social
bad.
media. You think
It-
social media is bad?
Depending on how you use it.
I feel, yeah,
Yes.
I feel like to the
But you can't have good without bad.
extreme.
Right. You
Like
can't have,
social media is an incredible tool
Yes.
Yeah.
that you
But it's also
and
it's
your
also a
generation.
terrible tool sometimes.
Right, but again, you can have one without the other. You
Right.
and your generation. Look, you're starting a podcast right now, right?
Right.
We
You
need
couldn't do that when I was your age. There was no such thing as a podcast.
Yeah.
You can actually make money making videos on YouTube. You can actually make money if people like the likes, and that's the problem. Like they feel like in the future they're gonna judge you by how's your profile and how many likes you have to be able to see. And they're already doing that. Look at the people that have a lot of likes. The ones that get 1 million views and have 1 million viewers. They fly them across. They fly them across to be part of this, like the NFL and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're what do they call those? What is streamers? But they have a word for it. It's word.
Influencers?
No,
Content
they're
creators.
content creators, but they're influencers. That's
Yeah,
what
influencers.
influencers, and they influence
Yeah.
quite a bit. If you have 1 million viewers and they're watching, you're like, vote for this person. They probably will. Just
Right,
like Taylor
and that-
Swift.
Yeah, that's
Taylor Swift has a great pool on that, I
Yeah.
believe. If she says this guy's the guy, and she has a young crowd too.
Yeah.
right.
So
I think
if
that's the most important
you
crowd
can
to
have
have.
that too. If you get your podcast and whatever you're working on at that level, you can actually impact the world in a big way.
That's the goal.
But the problem it goes with it too that there's people out there that use it for evil that get into not just females but young people's minds where they feel bullied and all they really need to do is delete the Instagram account and take a break from it where they don't. They end up reading the comments
But
and
they become
then
addicted to it.
unaliving themselves, which is a hard part to see that's happening with social media.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking. I don't think I, I don't know how you can control that. To be honest,
You don't use the app, but the problem
but
is
you have to
these-
use the app.
Do
You
you?
cannot do one without the other. You need those creators. You need to teach you yourself. Like you need to. That's what your parents and people that you look up to come into play. Where like if you're being bullied online and they look at you that you're depressed, that's who's checking up on you and be like, why? Why are you so depressed? Oh wow, someone called me fat. Oh well, who did that? Oh, someone online. Okay, well, delete it. Block the comments. But can you do it? So I can only tell you what to do to prevent it. I can't force you because
Like-
even if you do it in front of me, what's gonna stop you from putting it back? And because you kind of want to see the comments, but it gets in your head, and that's the sad thing that I see a lot of, you know, things with social media that are affecting the future pretty much. And AI is going to change it even more because I do believe the AI will create fake accounts and they can stir things.
Yeah, we were
around
just
the
talking
world.
about that. So like I'll see these Instagram videos and stuff where they're like AI like covers and stuff. You can kind of tell well, most of the time you can tell it's AI. But then there are like these some videos where I genuinely can't tell if it's real or like an AI. And like just imagine that on like a much higher and like more reformed
See, I don't
scale.
think AI has taken that, and maybe they have.
I think they
I
have.
I don't. I honestly do believe that is the people have created fake accounts to go into other accounts to create drama. I
Yeah.
do not believe that AI has because why would AI pick one side over the other?
Well, no,
Like,
sorry,
what do they gain
sorry.
from
I
it?
mean, I mean, like people are using the AI too.
So AI is being used like right now. I can
Yeah,
take you and
Yeah,
put you in a different country and
yeah.
say that you were there. Yeah, that technology is there. But AI going and creating accounts and causing drama, I don't believe we're there. I wouldn't be surprised if
yeah.
we are there.
Sorry, when I said that, I don't mean like AI is doing it itself. I meant like AI is being used. It's
Use
being used as a tool or stuff like that. You know?
yeah.
But at the same time, we can get there pretty quick.
Yeah, no, we are getting there. People are working on AIs right now. Too. I mean, Meta is working on it right now.
Yeah.
Bill Gates, the bigwigs, the Elon Musk. I
The
can see there. It's the next thing, and it's a scary thing because they keep talking about. They put two AIs to talk to each other, and they talk about how they want to destroy humankind. Like you're literally open Pandora's box
and then
if
another
you actually get that
yeah.
going. Because once it goes, I cannot see anyone stopping it.
And this was like a few months ago. It's not relevant like right now, but there's like this thing that came out where this AI got like passing scores on MCATs and stuff like that, like and other tests like that, like
Yeah, no, AI can
amazing
do that.
scores. And it's
AI
like
can pass all that stuff. I mean, but that's
like imagine like with all the chat, like the AI chat things that we have. Kids are like kids these days. They're not like I feel like they're not growing up with as imagination or stuff as before because I'll see some of my friends, like one of my friends, he was trying to come up with something, and he just went straight to Chat GPT to give him ideas and stuff.
right. Well, you
It's
have the
like,
tools, and that's why it goes back to how you want to do it.
yeah,
I mean, you have a easier way to cheat than I did.
yeah,
You just gotta. I mean, there's computers now in front of your desk to take notes. You don't really need to listen to your teacher. You can just watch a movie when you laptop or your phone,
yeah,
like hide it, and there's technology that gives you all that. I mean, that's kind of goes back to what you want to do. I
yeah,
mean,
It's
you
all
want
about
to
how
be
you
an
use it, right?
you want to be an athlete. You're gonna have to put the work into it. If you're gonna take the chances of getting hurt, same with all the other stuff. I mean, if you wanna cheat your way through high school to straight A's, you can. I believe
yeah,
that you can really do it, but there will be a point where AI won't be an option, and then what? You take the test that you can pass
yeah,
because
no,
you ended up cheating all this
yeah,
time. It's all on you guys what this future holds, to be honest. And um, there's still a lot of people out there that have different lives than like you guys that are struggling, that go through things that I hope you guys never have to go through that
Yeah.
makes them who they are. But there's also you guys that, I mean, bullying is not new. It's always been going on.
Yeah.
Bullying has
I
always been,
also
it's only being noticed now, I believe, more because of social media and other videos. I mean, look how many people are getting hurt,
yeah,
but they're being found because of social media. Back in the day, you were being bullied, you dealt with it. That was just that it. There was no like he's bullying me. It's like prove it. Now you can prove all that stuff. A lot of, but there's like I said, it comes one with the other. All of a sudden, you get the government or whoever noticing stuff like that and changing rules. We're like, don't bully, and but then why is that keep bullying? What is he going through that he needs to let out that he's not getting help? And whose responsibility is that? Their parents? What if their parents cannot give them that tool that they need to be able to succeed? Like they're gonna bully because they need to let it out somehow, and that may cost them to they're either gonna make their choices and change or go into a rabbit hole they won't be able to get out. I mean, that's how bullying starts. It's like what happened in your past. It's kind of with a narcissist thing. How do people become narcissists?
Yeah.
There's something that they went through that now makes them who they are. The thing I can give you as an advice that I don't know who gave it to me, but it's reading self-helping books, but selective, like the 48 Rules, great book. Read it. Dark Psychologist, read it. Dark Psychologist, I read books like that that teaches you. It teaches you with us how you can be manipulated, how you can read people,
Right.
and they tell you right there and there. I'm like, I don't know who's going to be reading this, but you can choose to use this for good, or you can use this to destroy someone's life.
Yeah, and with those books that teach you how you could be manipulated, on the same side you could learn how to manipulate people. And it's just all how you
And you can help people
do
with
it.
that too.
Perspective's reality, man.
100%.
And on back to that bullying thing, like, to be honest with you, if you're gonna post content online like what I'm doing, I had to, and I encourage people that want to get into the space, they have to be willing to understand and take in the comments, but also be like, hey, you know what? I'm creating content. I'm living the life I want, and you're not. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to like take the hits without being so affected by it. It's part of just manning up.
But it also goes to the lifestyle they have, how they've been raised.
Yeah.
Some people won't, like as much as you
Oh
want
yeah,
them
they
to.
just don't have
They
that.
don't have that.
Their
and
parents 100%.
and not even the parents. The parents might give them the tools. It's just they don't have that.
Yeah.
So it's where you become the bigger person. Like, is
Yeah.
this fight worth the fight, or is it just better to let it go? Like,
Yeah.
you learn that. I mean, what are you fighting? What are you trying to prove when you argue sometimes? Like, what's it gonna? Your ego?
Yeah.
You can have my ego. And some things you can have it. I'd rather lose an argument than talk to a wall sometimes. It's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sometimes like there's no sense in keeping it if it'll like burn a relationship or anything.
right, and then sometimes you
Yeah.
realize that relationship may not be what you wanted.
Yeah.
Like, you end relationships like that too. So books, there's a lot of books out there that self-helping books. And you choose who you like to listen
I think the
to.
best
I
self-help book's
mean,
the Bible, though, by far.
people need religion. Some people don't. I'm not religious because it's just things that, like, so I have a hard time with religion. I believe there's a higher power.
Yeah.
I seen things that I don't agree with. So, but I do believe there's something. So I'll pray to God,
Okay.
but there's just some things that I have to question that just makes no sense
A lot of people
to me.
question. I'm Christian. A lot of people
And
question.
there's the thing though, if you believe it, if it's working for you, if
Yeah.
it's like you pray, you get your answers, life's working for you in the positive way, keep going at it. It's good. But if you pray and you're getting answers and you're affecting people negatively, you're not getting the answers that you should be getting, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's people out there that are atheists, for example, that are great people. They don't believe in a God, that are some of the nicest people in the world.
But I
They
do
just
feel like they struggle the most out of most people that I have talked to. People that are godless and don't have any sense
and that's
of
where
guidance.
so that's interesting. Again, I disagree with that because I met atheists. They're just at peace. They're not they they don't need that guidance. They're just good people all around. They do the right thing. They help their brothers. They help their sisters. They don't look to do any harm to you. They just kind of want to be left at peace. That being said, there's also the ones that are hardcore, that are just not good. And it goes back to how they were raised. You were raised religiously, I believe. Obviously, right? You were raised. You're LDS.
No, I'm Christian.
You're Christian. I'm sorry. I see. I don't even
It's
know.
all under. It's pretty
Right.
close.
So again, you're Christian. You were raised what your parents shown you, and
Yeah.
it's been positive for you all this time. You're doing good with it. Obviously, you're succeeding, and your parents have done a great job with it.
Thank
Same
you.
with you, Isaac. Your parents are great parents. You're succeeding. You will succeed as long as you keep pushing yourself. You know when you're doing bad and when you're doing good,
Yeah.
but you make the choice of like, this is not a good thing, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I want to do it. But sometimes you think so. It's just like I said, religion is something that I'm not too religious, but it's just like I do believe that some people need it to be able to keep going forward in life. Because there's some people out there that have been religious, that have been given a bad hand, like terrible things that have happened to them, and it's like
Through the religion.
through the religion
Yeah.
that has, and you don't blame God on that. I get that. You blame the individual that did that, that knew what was going on, but that makes them so you don't want to be part of that groups anymore. Does that make sense?
Right.
So you
Yeah.
separate yourself from it,
It's all human trauma and how the brain
and they
processes it.
succeed anyway because they stay away from it. And the reason I feel like you guys think they don't succeed is because of the choices they make after that. And we're talking from getting pierces to getting tattoos to starting to drink to starting to do things that in the Bible may not align with. Does not mean that they're bad people. It just means that they chose to go a different route because when they tried to go the right way, they would harm, and they don't want to be harmed anymore. They're now traumatized by what the religion is.
Right.
Now, if you were to actually take religion for where it is, like for example the LDS Church, they teach you to save food. You know, the whole saving food in case something happens, the whole help each other, this and the other. But there's people in there that, have done bad, just like in the Catholic Church. Look at the priests. They claim to be this amazing people. And then you're like, this guy just got arrested for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You're like, the people they have affected will leave that religion. And they will leave religion completely to the point where they just want nothing to do with it. But they're still good people. They still succeed, and they don't struggle.
Succeed in which way though?
They have a happy life. They have a job. They have they do what they love to do. They have the friends they want to be surrounded with. And if that means drinking beer, smoking weed, and they're not harming anybody though,
Yeah.
and they're happy with, because look at the people.
But that's the overall question that I should probably have asked you that I wanted to. What is success? What is success? There's two questions. What is success, and then what does success means to you?
Success is what is considered to you. What is your success?
Right.
When I was growing up, my success would have been owning my house, having a car, and not having debt, because
Okay.
that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
I have succeeded. Am I happy? There's times where no, there's dark times. But it's a conversation that I have with myself where like, dude, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
You're good. Like you can literally step away from it. I choose not to. When you're having, let's take a breakup for a moment. You break up with your girlfriend. You're devastated. You get depressed. All that is a choice.
It is everything.
It is a choice. But sometimes you choose, you have to process, and time will take that process. So success to me is different what success to you is. What's
Yeah.
success to you? You're good.
Yeah.
You are successful already. But do you feel successful?
Nah.
Okay, but you are. In my eyes,
Right.
what you have is success. So what is success to you? What do you have to have, or where do you need to be at to call it success?
So for me personally, success isn't I've achieved this goal, and this goal,
Okay.
I'm done. I'm doing this every day. So it's a constant success. And by the end of my life, when I'm sitting on my deathbed, I can tell myself, hey, you lived it this way. I'd say my life was pretty successful. And in the process of that, um, I'll be proud of myself, which will create a likeness feeling of achievement. And I feel like that's success. Living.
So there's a word for that. Success. You're successful in sports. You start. That's a success.
To me, that's not a success.
What is that then to you?
That's literally just a metric I have to hit.
Okay. there's a word that we're missing right now that I can think of. That because success to me is being at peace with yourself, happy with yourself and what you're doing.
Yeah.
You have successfully finished this project. You have successfully, done this, that, and the other. That's success. But the definition to you is different, and I feel like we're talking about the same thing, but there's two different words for it. You had another question. You said success. What is success to me? What was the other question?
Yeah. So what is success, and then what does success mean to you? And you answered what does success mean to you, but you also answered the question.
But it's kind of the same.
No, because you.
What is success? Is what have you succeeded? Like like you have.
You told me.
What have you accomplished? Is kind of what you're saying.
No, I'm meaning like what is success? What's your
What's the
perspective?
definition of success?
It depends on the person.
No, like the actual definition. Like look it up. What is the actual definition of success? Because that's what we're basing it on.
The accomplishment of an aim or a purpose.
Right. I think purpose. To be honest with you, purpose is the biggest thing. Everybody has a purpose.
Purpose, absolutely. You lose your purpose sometimes, so you get into this. I mean, depends. You can have it all and still be depressed.
Yeah.
You can lose purpose. You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
feel like having it all, so like having a nice car, having a nice house, but are you fulfilling your purpose? That's what I mean.
So, what is your purpose?
My purpose is to serve others and create the best lifestyle for others as I possibly can.
So,
Be the nicest. Be the
break
best
that
version of
down.
myself.
Serve others how?
Serve others. Give back to people who need it.
Break it down. Who needs it?
Feeding the homeless is an example.
That's a big project. Um, how? That's one thing that I took a class once, and it was an English class, and they say break it down until you can't break it down anymore, and you'll find out. Start at the end where you cannot do it anymore. So,
Right.
uh, that's you can win that. That goes forever. So
And that's the
how can
game.
you? The purpose is to help other people, right?
Yeah.
Who can you help? Because you're not unlimited amount of money. Like,
Right.
are you talking about that person that you sit next to the bus is like, just having a bad day? Is it like listening to them? Because that's helping somebody. Sometimes
Well, in
people
different
just
ways,
listen.
yeah.
But there's also the like, I have a hard time giving money to big foundations because of how laundry money. Like, I feel like it doesn't go to the people sometimes. Like purpose for me, it's just
But then you can also dive in. There's so much to cover in that. Like you dive into the intent of it.
Yeah.
Your intent when giving the money was good. Therefore, should you feel good about giving that money? But at the same time, you can know or have an educated guess on where that money goes to. So can you really feel accomplished by giving that money? There's so many different areas that you could talk about and so many rabbit holes you can go down to.
right, and that's what breaking it down means. That's
Right.
what I learned that when he told me that break it down, break everything down. Like everything you do in life, you can break down to everything. Like right now, you getting ready to wrestle. What do you need to do to get ready? Well, eat right, exercise right, eat the right food. What food are we talking about? What exercise are we talking about?
Yeah.
What steps are you taking? There's choices that you're going to be giving, right or wrong. And sometimes you do bad things to have a good outcome. You know
And
what
it's
I'm
not
saying?
even for me personally. A lot of people that know me outside the podcast know this about me. Me personally, for me to wrestle well, I have to have a clean house. Like my house at home has to be
Right.
clean because it's just the thought of me being clean, me being reset. I could wrestle free. I know I don't have any other responsibilities outside of what I'm doing on the mat for me to think about. I have to do well academically. I have to give effort in my podcast, give effort in my business, clean my house, and just make sure everything in life is as much in order as I can make it before I could just be free.
So, what's a good, healthy, successful life mean to you, if not success?
Like metrically or the way it makes me feel.
I think
Both.
what Connor describes more in his success. I think that's more like fulfillment
Yeah.
than just
Because success, as long as
Me being
you're
fulfilled is
healthy,
successful.
Well, okay, yeah.
If I'm
absolutely.
fulfilled, I'm
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah, and I think
But
you're
I feel like-
successful as it is right now. You're still young, and it's not
Yeah.
gonna come in years. It's gonna take time. Sometimes it can come tomorrow. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The things you're working on, you're obviously working on it. You talk about your clothing line. You talk about your podcast now. You talk about wrestling. You talk about football. You're eventually going to have to give some of those up.
Eventually.
Eventually, not now, but some of these things, like all of a sudden, your AI thing takes off. You will have to sacrifice maybe your clothing line for a minute.
Right.
Maybe you won't be able to wrestle or football anymore. But I mean, that's you're still in high school, so who cares?
Right.
You're doing fine. Maybe your podcast is going to take a dip, and all of a sudden you don't have time for a podcast because you're so busy doing that thing. But are you successful if for the rest of your life you're making so much money, but you need to be working all the time? Is that success?
No, I don't believe that's success.
That's not success. But
There's-
some people
Right.
believe that that is the success. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying is your definition of success may be different than my definition of success.
Right.
I succeeded just by being here right now, and in a sense of a point, like success.
Yeah.
Good. There's still a lot to be done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people are given so much sometimes, and we can go back to religion on this one. God doesn't give you more than you can handle, but sometimes, obviously, He does, because there's some people out there that just can't handle it and don't have the right support. You know,
And that's
having
what I
a
was saying about the content. Is like, I don't think people should create content if they can't handle what comes with it, the negative.
oh, 100%.
If you want the positive,
Yeah.
like I love seeing this, like camera mics, people, like I love seeing this. But if I
Right.
can't handle somebody commenting on my podcast, hey, you're like, you know what I mean?
hmm
Like I shouldn't be creating content.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I think I
That
need to
as
be mature
soon as
enough.
you, well, this is the thing though. You can have a discussion without having bad words and making it go dark, if that makes any sense.
Well, yeah, no, that's not what
But-
I mean. I mean, like, if I can't handle negative, I should not deserve the positive.
Negative in a positive way,
What
if
do
that
you mean
makes
by
any
that?
sense. So I can be like, this is telling you that you're not doing something right, instead of just throwing it at you in a negative way, if that
Oh,
makes
yeah.
any sense. Like there's negative that's gonna come at you, but it doesn't have to be thrown in your face and rub it there. Rub it, it can
Well, yeah,
be.
no, I mean negative in general.
Yeah.
If I can't handle the negative from what I'm doing to try to create positive,
And learn from it.
yes, life's a learning game.
Absolutely. So yeah, I don't know. Like that's where I ended with that.
I think
So-
I think this section should be its own thing. Life from life advice with
Yeah, that would be.
Joel.
Yeah, it's one of those where like
Life advice.
that's the
featuring
thing.
Joel.
I'm so your podcast right now. I'm curious, and it's talking. It literally remind. It doesn't for me. I'm still trying to figure out what your podcast is about for me to get intrigued. So the podcast I listen to, right? Tech Meme, it's all about the technology that's coming out right now. He doesn't judge it; he just reports it. The other one that I listen to is Mormon Stories. I'll listen to that, and it's all about people's experience, negative experience in the church.
Yeah.
Then I'll listen to. I try to listen to whatever podcast, and those guys are all over. They just literally want the popularity of like, let's talk about this, and they'll throw it out there. 7 hours, and they're getting millions of views. There's just,
No, I'm not watching 7 hours, bro.
but people have, and they have like a lot of ratings. So I'm still trying to
So the
figure out.
podcast, have you ever seen Impulsive and like Logan Paul's? They're making their podcast to be entertainable, and that's my main goal. I want to entertain people with
What would be the title of this podcast?
of this
Curious,
podcast. I'm gonna listen to it and then edit it, but mostly I'm gonna pick out a highlight of what I think our conversation has came from.
So it's literally just talking about whatever.
Yeah, it depends on the person, right? So I'm not gonna. So like, if I have my wrestling coach on, I'm not gonna talk to him about religion as much as I would about wrestling.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, I can see you pulling. Like, I listened to Joe Rogan a
yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
I, I usually like more because that's just conversations.
It's just conversation.
And for me, I
Yeah.
would have to look at your title to be able to be like, okay, this might be good.
Right.
With
and
the
that's-
other ones, it's more like I know what I'm already listening to.
right. We're
It's
more of
just
a we're
you-
more of a oh my gosh, this looks interesting.
Yeah,
You're gonna click on it, and then we have conversations like this throughout the podcast to keep you hooked throughout the whole
Mhm.
thing.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
literally it, and that's good if you can get that going. You also need the right people that can converse, have a great conversation too, because you need to
I
have
think
that conversation.
anybody. Well, yeah, I think anybody. I could get anybody. Like you're a good person to have on,
No, thank you.
and then he was a good person to have on. Everybody has good traits, you know.
Right, right.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, it was just all my main goal of this is to make human connection, make connection.
fair.
And this is something I've always wanted to do,
No. And it's good.
and this is
You're
fulfilling.
being active.
This
That's
is
it.
successful to me.
You exactly. That's exactly it. Uh, you're doing great. I mean, you have it all.
Thank you.
You're doing more than most kids your age are doing.
I'm trying.
So,
I don't
and
try
you're
to
doing
compare
great.
myself, but
Whatever you're trying, you're doing great. And I can
Thank you.
tell just by what you showed me and what I seen. So just keep pushing at it. So,
what'd you do after high school?
uh,
If you don't mind me asking.
no, I don't. I Salt Lake Community College for a couple of years. I work at a gas station up on 21st and 13th, where I was robbed at gunpoint, and it made it to the news too.
Wait,
And
I gotta get into that. You were robbed at gunpoint while you were working.
well, I used to work the graveyard shift,
Okay.
and
happened?
guy comes in, asks for the money, points a gun at me, and I just gave him the money. You know, it was one of those where like I didn't want to react,
Yeah.
so it's like here you go, call 911, and that was that. Prior to that, I mean, it's a different crowd working at a gas station during the day than it is during the night. During the night, you get a lot of the clubs, people that work at the clubs, people that have a different
You
lifestyle.
were working weekends too,
Yeah,
so you will work nights and weekends.
yeah, night
Yeah,
weekends,
you
and
must
it
have got
was
some.
interesting people. I worked at 21st and 13th East
Oh, okay.
on Sugar House,
Okay, yeah. So you were definitely getting.
and that was before they looked like that.
Oh,
Our
really?
gas station was in the middle,
Yeah.
and then there was pumps outside. Yeah, at gunpoint, and there was other incidents. Like there's a kid that back in the day, I would turn the pump on for you, you fill that out, and I trust that you would come in and pay me.
Yeah.
So teenagers, what they would do is they would call it a gas run, which they would pump the gas and they just leave.
Oh.
So um, I was instructed to always let them pump and then them to come in. So one day I saw this kid. He's like, "Hey, can you turn it on so I can pump my gas?" Because the way it works is they pump it, and then that way they can give you the exact amount or just run their credit cards. Um,
It wasn't
this
like
kid come
automatic
in
like now.
and he's like pumping his gas, and I'm pretending to clean something. And he gets in, he's obviously like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey," I knew he was coming, so I grabbed a stick and he hit me. He came at me with his car, so I pulled it out and I hit the windshield of it, and he drove off.
Uh,
He told the cops that he wasn't leaving, he was just pulling into a parking stall to come in and pay. No one ever did that. Everybody always
yeah.
pumped the gas, put the thing back, and then come in and pay and grab if they need anything else. So a lot of things happened. That kid came back the next day, and he came with a couple of his friends. He's like, "Hey, come here, I want to talk to you." I'm like, "No." But strangely enough, there was a 6 feet guy kid, kind of chubby, that would come every day, and I wouldn't charge him sometimes. And he was grabbing his thing. I didn't go out, but it was just hilarious because he was getting his drink. He's like, "Come here right now." I'm like, "No." And I remember him stopping, and he didn't look at me. He just stopped, and I knew that if shit hit the fan, I knew that he was gonna react in my favor. The kid was pissed. I didn't go outside, but once the kid left, because his buddy's like, "Hey, just let's go." He leaves, and he goes back to filling out the cup, and he would come up to pay, and I was like, "You're good." But I remember that him being there made the biggest difference because I know that other ones are like everybody loved doing them back in the days, and I still think they're doing now. Teenager kids that are maybe older people too. They call it beer run, where
Yeah.
they walk in, grab a 6 pack of beer, and they run. And I remember we would lock up the beer cabinet,
Yeah.
and this kid was drunk. You can tell he was underage. Came in with a group of 10 kids, broke the glass, and they just ran.
Alcohol
dude.
does some of the worst things to people.
Don't know. I mean, I just don't understand it because alcohol tastes like crap. Yes, it gives you a side effect that is, it's a terrible side effect, to be honest. It's,
Yeah.
the
You don't function like
no, but for some reason, and again, it goes back to the life they have lived. That's why they do what they do. Only they're doing it at a younger age because they have gone through the stuff that they go through at a younger age, and this is how they learn to cope with it. So, I I feel for them. I really do. It's sad. It sucks when it goes to the point where someone else gets hurt, big time, physically.
Mhm.
That's when it's like, okay, no, like drunk driving, not okay. So, no, Jira House was interesting. I did that for a couple years, and then uh, I applied at the University of Utah, and that's where I ended up. And I enjoy it. I mean, it was unfulfilling job, but it paid the bills. Um, Opportunities, I can say they ever came by, but I became a workaholic quite a bit, like
Really?
working a lot. Yeah. Uh, the job that I have is good. I mean, it pays all my bills, but it doesn't fulfill me. It never has. And it's just because of the way I've learned that I knew it was going to be hard for me to do college or anything. Taking tests are hard for me. So um, it's a dead end job. I would have loved to have been something where like makes a difference, like firefighter,
Yeah.
pilot,
Yeah.
anything in the medical field, anything that you're like, yeah, I did that. My body's not beat up. I gotta be thankful for that. I thought it was. I feel fine at 40. As long as I start exercising like I just recently started, I think I'm gonna be okay. But yeah, I literally it was a daily job. I used to work at the zoo, and that's a lot of fun too in itself. Um, you get to know a lot of people there too, and that's pretty much where my ended. I would have loved to been more, but I made the choices that I make by not being selfish, which sometimes you gotta be. So
You gotta be a little
I
bit.
chose to take care of mom as much as I can instead of getting what I wanted, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So that's what I chose. Do I regret it? No. But do I resent it sometimes? Just a little bit. Just because I don't know if it's resentment. Sorry. I take it personally in case they see this. But it's one of those where like, it's good what I got. Don't get me wrong. It's good. But I just wish I could have been more like, and there's the thing. I don't even know if I could have got any of it. So
Can't play that what if game though, man.
that's, uh, for me, and that's where I'm at, because I knew what I could get for sure where I'm at right now. Um, I taken tests before, and I don't take tests well. If you show me how to do something, I can do it. If you tell me to read a book about it, I struggle with it.
Yeah.
When you take classes, I took an EMT class. Yeah, I did terrible on it. I just don't do that well. But if you show me just how to do what I need to do, basically, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, this is the cards that you were dealt, and if you want to be religious about it, this is the God the path that God gave me. So I'll take it.
Do you believe that He might have given you it for a reason?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Do
That's
I
such a
believe
great. That's such
my
a great
mom
concept.
to take care of my mom? Me and my brother have the
That's your
same.
purpose.
My 100%,
And if it makes you,
100%.
does it
But
fulfill you?
that's the thing though. Like part of me, I told my mom we had this conversation. We're like, if we knew how to properly read and write, properly read and write in any language, I think we would have been on our way out. We wouldn't be in Utah. We would have been. He would have been somewhere else. I honestly believe that.
Yeah.
successfully.
Well, Joel, if I was 6'8", 250, I would be an NFL prospect.
Not
right now.
necessarily. Not necessarily. You'd be surprised. I mean, 6 feet, 0.5. I have a friend actually that's that tall. He's just a security guard. He tried it. He made it to the not the NBA, but the one below it. And then eventually he had to realize that it wasn't for him. So the what if game is dangerous. You just gotta look at what you got right now and be thankful for it. Be grateful for it. Hope for the best in the future and don't give up, no matter how dark and ugly it gets. Just keep pushing forward. Find the positive in it. Keep it with a smile. Don't regret anything, even though sometimes you feel like you want to.
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason, and just live with that. Sometimes things are hard to let go, but usually time helps you with that. Eventually, you let go without realizing you're letting go. So, yeah, and surround yourself with the right people. People say that you can. I heard this quote just recently. I don't know if you said it or someone, but you can tell who you are by the 5 people you surround you.
Yep, I said that earlier.
Okay. By
Or
the five
offset, we
people.
were talking about that.
Yeah, one of those who like, yeah, it's true. Like, I'm good. I have a big. I like to have a big group, positive group of people I know and talk to. So
Good.
at the end of the day, though, there's that always part of me where like there's the what if for sure, but I don't think about that too much, thankfully.
I used to do that a lot, the what if, and the best thing I've learned to do is like, well, that it didn't happen, so I might as well just.
Yeah. Have you ever had
Yeah.
something you can let go even though you should?
Yeah,
And that's a hard one.
a lot.
I
Oh,
cannot. There's things that I cannot let go just because you
I've gotten
think
better at it,
you can fix them,
but
or not fix them, but just you have a hard time letting them go. Like I can let go of things easy. I'd rather drown with them, and eventually time goes
physical
by.
things or memories or what? What do you? If you don't mind me asking.
Um, people,
People.
people.
Yep.
Not physical. Some people that you just can let go of.
It's
Get
a
that.
dangerous game to
Oh,
because
100%.
it's like a
Depression hits in the. I don't know if depression hits or not.
I wouldn't call it depression. I would call it just because I have a very unique, view on depression that pisses a lot of people off. But
What is it?
so I don't. I do believe some people are, and some people are depressed, but I don't believe people are born depressed. I do believe people feed it to themselves. There's a quote I say. There's a there's a wolf in the dark and there's a wolf in the light. What one stays alive?
Are you asking me the
Yeah.
question?
There's a wolf in the light and there's a wolf in the dark. What one stays alive?
The one you feed?
The one you feed. So I could be feeding the one in the dark all day long, and the one in the light's gonna die. I believe it's a game of purely feeding your mind what's good for it that will change the way you think about things. Yes, your situation could be horrible, but there gets to a point where you can feed yourself just enough to be able to make it through. If you understand what I mean. Some people's situations are so bad that they don't have any other choice to be depressed, but at the same time, perspective is reality.
Yes.
And what I just said right now has irritated a lot of people. I used to go
This
with
is the thing though, with depression. You ever heard of the glass child?
I haven't. What is it?
The glass child, and I just it's there's a child that they need more attention than normal. That sometimes that child is the one that has that they they just need more attention. It's a mental genetical thing that they need. I can't even define it. Look it up when you have chance.
Yeah.
The glass child. And I hear you at the same time, but like I said, goes according to situation. It doesn't apply just to everyone, if
Yeah.
that makes any sense. Because yes, there are some people that
Yeah, they have chemical imbalances.
That
I
one.
totally get that.
See, I have,
But I do believe the people that don't have chemical imbalances, their family situation, they're not homeless, they're not getting abused every day. The average teenagers that are like me that say I'm depressed,
yeah.
feed themselves that information. Now
there's
they're
some.
yeah.
Yes, I'll give you
Oh,
some.
yeah.
There are
and I'm
some.
talking for those some. I'm not talking for the
Listen,
majority.
Yes.
Listen, this is a hot take, but like, I feel like, and I have this view on a couple other things. What he's saying, not the people who like genuinely do have stuff like that, where they are like in an abusive home or like stuff like that. You know, just like people who have it good. I feel like some people they want to fit in, and on social media, like you like fitting in on social media is being different, kind of. Does that kind of make sense? Because if you stand out on social media, then everybody will come to you. Oh yeah, no, you're amazing in the comments and stuff. I feel like
What's
to
having a
to an
good
extent,
though?
like social media, I feel like I feel like it's making more people just say they're depressed and stuff for
Yes,
attention.
Yeah, please.
but
Stuff
having
like
a
that.
good,
What's
you
your
can
definition of having a good?
yeah, you can have it all,
Like,
and doesn't mean that depression won't hit you. You can be invisible. You can have everything you want. You can have the cars,
Okay.
you can have the houses, you can have the money, and you can still feel abandoned. You can still get that depression
Well, how are you feeling that?
because your parents are not there for you.
Yeah, and I don't. I think that's not having it good. I think
but at the same
having
time,
it good.
So what is having
I
it
don't think
good?
material like I'm not meaning having it good like material.
So what's
I mean,
having it
like
good?
having a loving family, in my opinion. Like that's really good to
If you
have.
have that, you won't get the way you're saying. I don't think,
You
in my
won't.
opinion.
You don't think
I don't think you will
you don't
because
think
you
you'll seek
have
out attention.
no. If you have the good loving family, if you have it good, and your definition is having a loving family,
how many kids have you met that? I'm just asking this personally,
right?
Isaac. How many kids have you met, like including me? I have a loving family. Like, how many kids have you met that have a loving family, like you, yourself, and me, that are like that? I haven't met. I haven't.
I know some people who are like that.
Then you're
The
talking about the majority of what we call, quite frankly, spoiled brats that aren't grateful.
100%,
You know, those rich kids that
yeah.
no, we're
I'm
talking
not
about
talking
those
about
kids.
rich kids.
Because the rich kids can have depression. Absolutely, you can have it all and still be depressed.
Yeah.
But it's
Um,
also
Like-
what they feed themselves.
yes, but again, they also what's lacking from themselves.
Right.
I mean,
I do feel like
you can
people
give it all, you can have it all, and not know what to do with it.
Yeah,
Like you can have a chef that cooks for you every day
and still feel hungry.
and still feel hungry.
Yeah.
Or that's exactly it. The loving family, the perfect family, and really that doesn't exist. I mean, maybe it does. Maybe there's that 1%. But like me myself, I was raised just by my mother, and the struggle
Well,
was real. But like we were good, but we weren't good. You know what I'm saying? There was struggles.
yeah, but you still had a loving family.
I had my mom, and that's
Yeah,
there were hiccups, but
everybody has hiccups.
yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know the feeding yourself. I understand too, and I feel like that comes with social media. That social media has made that. I just cannot see it before that. Before social media, depression. That's what the whole thing. The times have changed.
No, that's kind of my thing, and I pissed a lot of people off with this perspective. Before social media, I'm saying take away social media and really focus in and notice what you're telling yourself. The number one person that speaks to you more than anyone else is yourself. You feed
100%.
yourself the thoughts that you feed you, the way you think about things, the way you act, and the way you treat other people will determine how you feel. I believe in that.
100%. But how did you get those feelings?
I personally, it's different for everybody, but
100%.
I've personally found out that my actions towards productivity help me feel happier.
Yes. Unfortunately, not everybody has that.
And I was talking
You
about this with
have
my
that,
mom.
yeah. You have that, and not everybody has that.
Some people aren't
Some
wired
people
like that.
are okay with a messy room,
Yeah.
and not being
Or
able
they
to.
might not be okay with it. They just don't think about it.
That's true.
I have a friend. I'm not going to say his name, but he wrestles, and he's, by what he's told me, he got a very messy room, and he's okay with running away from his problems. But I genuinely believe and think that it's not that he's okay with running away from his problems. He just doesn't know any better. He just doesn't know any different. He
Everything
hasn't
you
been
do in
raised.
this world teaches you how to talk to yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes negative or positive, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, no, that was
Uh,
good. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
It went all over.
Yeah.
that was a great podcast.
You're gonna
Um,
have so much to edit if you want to keep it 45 minutes. Like you
No,
said
I'm not going to
before,
keep it
bro.
45 minutes. That's going to be a longer podcast,
yeah.
but I'm totally okay with it. Well, thank you,
No, it's
Joel.
good. It was fun.
Thank you, Isaac. I
I
appreciate
got
you
all
guys coming
over.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe do
I
like
can't wait to see your Instagram blow up, dude. I'm thinking the way you talk and your actions. Yeah, you're like a big entrepreneur, dude. I can see you just
Thank you.
taking off. Amazing to have met you. Um, and I hope you succeed. I don't know if sports is gonna be your thing, but if it's not, I'm sure you'll be just fine with whatever you make it.
Thank you.
But also have fun here and there
I got to.
because
This is fun to me, though.
yeah, no, yeah, like being here right now, it's just chill.
Yeah,
It's whatever.
definitely.
No, I can see you be going far.
Thank you.
I think you have a great future, but
I'm so excited. I wake up every day with an
and you're
excitement.
16, 17, right?
16.
16. Good, good.
Not even 17 yet.
You have great opportunities. Whether you're doing what you're doing already, keep at it. Don't quit on it, and I think you'll be just great.
Thank you.
Starting
That was a good conversation, though. I appreciate you coming on.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. It
Appreciate you.
was good.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah.
So let's do it
Thank you,
again.
guys. Victory lap. Pretty good. Thank you, guys.